Imagine living in a country you've always loved, but suddenly, you don't recognize it anymore. That's exactly what Hollywood icon Angelina Jolie just admitted. In front of an international audience in Spain, she said these chilling words, "I love my country, but I don't recognize it anymore." These are not ordinary times. Jolie warns that America is entering very, very heavy days, where speaking your truth may come with a price. Her remarks have ignited a firestorm of debate, not just in Hollywood, but across the nation. And at the center of it all, the growing tension over freedom of speech in the United States. Let's start with Jolie herself. At the San Sebastian Film Festival in Spain, while promoting her new movie Coacher, she was asked about the current cultural climate in America. Her answer shocked many. She said freedom of speech is under threat. She described the times as heavy, and she warned that anything which divides, silences, or limits freedom from anyone is very dangerous. Now, Jolie isn't just another celebrity giving sound bites. She's a humanitarian, a UN ambassador, and someone who has spent decades working in war zones and refugee camps. So when she says America feels unfamiliar, it hits differently. But why now? Why are so many voices suddenly raising alarms about free speech? The spark was lit by a major television scandal. Comedian Jimmy Kimmel, one of late night's biggest names, made controversial comments about conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Within days, ABC suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live! A shocking move in an industry that has always defended its stars. Behind the scenes, reports suggest government pressure played a role. FCC Chair Brendan Carr made remarks interpreted by some as threats toward networks over their licenses. Critics argue this crossed a line, turning freedom of expression into a political battleground. And this is exactly why Jolie's words hit so hard. If one of the most powerful TV hosts can be silenced, what does that mean for everyday Americans? The fallout was immediate. Celebrities, journalists, and activists lined up on both sides. Civil liberties groups like the ACLU warned this could set a dangerous precedent. Supporters of Kirk argued that speech has consequences, and that networks have a duty to avoid incitement. Meanwhile, millions of Americans asked themselves, where's the line between accountability and censorship? Jolie isn't alone in her concern. Other public figures have voiced fears about a culture of silence, where artists, journalists, and even ordinary people are afraid to speak openly. Social media backlash, career threats, and political influence have all created an atmosphere of caution. Some call it the age of self-censorship. Let's zoom out. Freedom of speech has always been one of America's proudest principles. It's what separates democracy from dictatorship, openness from oppression. But here's the dilemma in today's polarized world. Free speech often collides with hate speech, misinformation, and political agendas. Governments worldwide are grappling with the same question. How do you protect free expression without allowing harm? Europe, for example, enforces stricter limits on hate speech. But America, under the First Amendment, has traditionally defended even the most controversial voices. Now, with celebrities like Jolie saying they don't recognize their country, many fear that principle is eroding. So where does this leave us? Angelina Jolie's voice matters, not because she's a celebrity, but because she's echoing a fear millions already feel. If freedom of speech falls, so does trust, creativity, and democracy itself. Maybe the real question is this: are we silencing hate, or are we silencing ourselves? Jolie called these times very, very heavy, and maybe she's right. But history shows us something important. Heavy times also reveal who has the courage to stand up, speak out, and defend the freedoms that define us. Because the moment we stop speaking, that's the moment we truly lose our voice.